Okay, so building on what we did the last one, where we did translating have, we're now going to be working a little bit more on translation of different options of how we can sign things like to take someone, to pick someone up, to drop someone off, those kind of things. And there's 3 basic variations on how we can do that, all based on, I mean, there's separate English ones, but as you'll see, we oftentimes say one thing and mean any of those 3 options. So it'll become more clear. Anyway, so to pick up, right? You just grab. So if you go over there and you pick someone up, you go over here, pick someone up. Now, this is not going to a bar and picking someone up. This is like literally you're picking someone up to take them, give them a ride somewhere. So pick up, drop off, right? And most of the time you don't do it in the same place, right? Unless you're, driving around and then you go drop them off in the same place. So pick up on one side, drop off on another. Pick up on one side, drop off in front, pick up, drop off, pick up, drop off, pick up, drop off. And I am so pale that just by moving changes the white balance of the screen. What a pain. Okay, so boom, boom, pick up, drop off, pick up, drop off. He's a famous Russian name, pick up, drop off, pick up, drop off. Okay. Now, the other thing we can talk about is the verbs. We pick someone up and then we can drive them to somewhere, we can take them to somewhere, or we can go somewhere. So any of those 3 verbs can be used. And I am going to add one more here. No. Boom. Go to. Go to. All right. So those are the 3 that we're going to be interchanging. And I want you to be well versed with all 3 of them. So again, you can make the conscious choice of which one you use in a sentence. Boosh. So these are the things to practice. And we're going to be using 3 points to the right, to the center, and to the left, or left, center, right. Generally speaking, if you are right-handed and your right hand is your dominant hand, you will start with the left. So you will do something here and move to here. That's just the way it normally works. If you're left-handed, you will normally start with the right and move left. Okay. So I took from and drive to. So why don't we take from the opposite side, boom, and then drive. So you picked them up and then you drove over to the other side. Okay. Pick them up, drove. Pick them up, drove. Pick them up, drove. Okay. So then you can do pick them up and then drop off. So pick them up, drop off. 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 Pick them up, go. Pick them up, go. Pick them up, go. Just alternate, but I want you to make conscious choices with each of them. So that's me. I pick them up, go. Pick them up, drive. Pick them up, drop off. Then they took me, picked me up, right? Because I'm in the center. I'm in the center, not even center back, really, I guess. Picked me up. They came, picked me up. Because you're always where you are, right? No matter where you go, there you are. Thank you, Buckaroo Banzai. So they came, picked me up, and then drove me to somewhere else. So they came here, picked me up, drove me over there. Or drove me over there, or drove me over there, right? They came, picked me up, and dropped me off over there. Or picked me up and dropped me off, picked me up, dropped me off. Or they came, picked me up, and we went, we drove, or they brought me. Picked me up, dropped me off. So you can do carry, pick them up, brought them there. So that's another one that really we could add into the mix of carry. Boom, boom. It's basically the same as this. So you can see there are a bunch of different options in there. There's pick up, drop off, pick up, go, pick up, carry, and pick up, drive. I think that was the one that was missing, right? So there are really 4 different options that we can play with. But bring is really this bring. So we put a couple of different options in there. I didn't want to fill up the screen with too many of them. That's take two or bring two. Oh, bring. Okay. So then there's a whole bunch of different variations to look at. I drove to work. She drove to work. And the video will show one of the options that's on the screen. And sometimes I just left one option because it was obvious and put some explanation. So take a look at the examples that the book has on the DVD. Now, remember, I drove her to work. What does that mean? It means we have introduced another person, right? So I drove, pick her up, and then drove to work, right? So we're adding a step. So really be careful. Picture exactly what you're talking about. If you were filming it with no dialogue, what would happen? You'd get in the car, you drive to wherever she is, she'd get in the car, and then you'd drive to work, right? So make sure you're seeing that. So your choice of, did you feel like you were serving her, bringing her to work? Did you pick her up, drop her off? Was it just pick her up, you went to work? Did you go together? This would be drop off, and you're probably going on somewhere else, right? If you went, you might be there with her. If you brought her, you might still be sticking around afterwards, right? So each one is a slightly different, but being able to use them consciously again. So again, took, you could get the person or transport the person. Some of these, I apologize, some of the videos just will give me black bars at the top and the bottom, and some will trim those off. So I wish I had a better way of doing that without putting a lot of work into it. So we can use drop off, we can use go. We can use drive, drop off, lots of different options. Just watch the videos. The English is sometimes kind of awkward. I picked up my nephew from his home and brought him to school. I picked up my nephew from his home and brought him to school. Okay, so it's using each of the different ones. Here we go. Okay, so just watch the sentences. They're very clear. Now, one of the things I want you to notice is we use this as our only pronoun, right? Well, there's singular and plural. There's also specific numbers of like you two, you three, four of us, up to five, generally speaking. But this is our basic pronoun. It, he, she, it, they, right? They singular, they plural. It's oftentimes much more useful to define that. And if you don't want to make gender choices, family relation is usually a good one. My uncle. So set it up before you do it, just so you're playing with specifics. My cousin, my nephew, right? And it's easy enough to say. You can say, man, picked up, brought to work, right? Those kind of things, being specific is very helpful. When I was doing exercise and I work with people like tutoring, I'll have them write down, what do you want to say? Pick a person that you're talking about, then the pronoun, because the pronoun establishes where they are. So uncle, so yes, introduce something, set it up, point to it, and then manipulate it. Go get them, take them to work. So then write the translation. And again, I just put a line at the bottom. Just jot it down yourself. The example is, my sister will bring my son home from camp. Now, they're purposely going to give you some challenging ones. And they want you to be like, which am I going through? Home and camp. And I'm here. So here is where I am. Home would be here. So camp there, pick up, and bring home. So now notice there are 4 locations. We've got right and left, we've got in front of us, and we've got home base. It's baseball, right? Who's on first? What's on second? I don't know who's on third. Right? I don't give a darn. That's our shortstop. Anyway, so play with each of these. Look at the translations. Some of them are pretty long, and there's some new vocab that you'll pick up from inside. I want to put in... I'm going to put in a slide here with the new vocab. I'm actually going to pause this for a second. Actually, looking back over, any vocab that appears in these sentences, we've had in past units. So there's not really... What's most important is these, the spatial agreement among all of these verbs in these sentences. So getting used to those, the diamond, the baseball diamond. So there's nothing really new, and all the vocab should be in. If there's anything new you haven't seen, go back and look in the vocab from ASL 1. But really, that's it. I suppose I can copy this slide, copy, and then come down here, Bosch, and paste another copy of that one so that we have it all. But really, 7-6. A lot of these are really short ones, a little hit and run ones. So I'll post this right away.